I'll give you a little bit of an introduction to myself and what I do as an internet entrepreneur. And what we will do is then, if some of you have ideas or career steps to go through, then we'll go and I'll take an actual case study to help you start your businesses or your ideas. Is that okay? So you can hear everything, I'm assuming. So just a little bit of an intro to myself. I'm Amir Anzur. I'm based right now in Dubai. I was born in the UK, Pakistani origin, and I was brought up in Belgium, and I did a computer science degree from University of Manchester in the UK. And I started my career in consulting for large companies like Microsoft. I work with Vodafone and big corporations in London. And about a year into my corporate career, so when I was probably around 21, I got really tired of the corporate life because, I thought that's not what I'm meant to be doing in this world. It was getting really boring. So at around that time, 1999, internet was really becoming a big boom. And I started my first online business. I moved from London to California. I pretty much just had an idea to say that the internet was going to be big. I could predict exactly what's happening now, right? I mean, 1999 even, this was not so possible. But if you think about it, you're not getting educated from a teacher who's not in your city, right? And this is how the world is changing. If you looked even 2 decades ago, this is a really unique position to be in, because what I'm doing, I'm recording this lecture, and now I have content. So if you think about it, in the old economy, maybe 2-3 decades ago, someone like myself, I wouldn't go into teaching, right? Because I have to repeat myself every year. There's only 20, 30, 40 students in the classroom. There's limited amount of income I can make, yeah? But now through the internet and in this knowledge economy, I'm able to become a teacher and monetize, pretty much make unlimited amount of income. And I don't have to be repeating myself every year. So, for instance, I've set up one of my businesses. Well, my main focus right now is Webpreneur Academy, where I teach people internet entrepreneurship, yeah? So they have their ideas and they want to launch it, and that's what I can do. But now, if you think about how the world is changing, is I have to do the work once. I don't even have to dress up for work. I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'm at home, and I'm able to lecture at one of the best business schools around the world, right? And I'm in my house. So this is how many of you will be working in the next decade, yeah? So that it does take a bit of a shift in mindset, because we're used to going into an office. If you think about human society, is very structured, yeah? So if you look at how school treats you, get up at 7 in the morning, turn up to class at 8, leave at 9, then the next class starts. And same with college and university. And when you look at it, after you graduate, what happens, like most of your parents, they got a job. And in that job, what do? They turn up to work at 9 o'clock, they leave at 5 o'clock, and it's very structured, Monday to Friday. As an entrepreneur, I basically set my own day, right? Sometimes if I want to sleep in till 2 in the afternoon, I can. If I want to work on a Friday or a Saturday, I do, right? Typically, entrepreneurs do work longer and harder hours than, I would say, employees, yeah? So I was just explaining a little bit about my journey into entrepreneurship, but my first business, complete failure. I got myself in a lot of debt. It took me 2-3 years to pay that off. Then I started my second business in mobile in London. I ran that for 4 years before selling it off from 2003 to 2007. And then I decided that I wanted to come into education. And so I took jobs in education with the government of Dubai and government of Abu Dhabi to learn about the sector. And in the meantime, I was focused on learning about the internet so I could make income for myself. I started a lot of businesses online, like an online flower shop, a hosting business, e-commerce platform. And a lot of people started asking me, how do you set up a business? So I thought, okay, well, either I can keep going and continue to build all these businesses, and I'll show you how straightforward it is to start a business, or I can help other people create their businesses and then create an income for themselves. And that's what I'm going to show you a bit of today as well, is how you can take the first steps to start your businesses. So as you can see, the world of the internet is shifting a lot, right? Because now, in the previous economy, what does a typical IBA graduate make after graduation from you're doing MBA, right?
BBA.
BBA. What does a typical BBA graduate make in Karachi?
You join a multinational company usually.
A farm, maybe.
Sorry?
You can join a farm. Probably what they do is join a farm.
I guess the starting pay is around 25 to 30K.
Okay, 30,000 rupees, yeah? Let's say 25,000 rupees, which is about $250 a month. Yeah?
Yeah.
$250 to $300 a month. Would you say that's fair?
Not fair.
Okay, and what do you think if you went to an equivalent university like in America and did a BBA, you would make if you found a job in America?
You find a job like around $2,000 per month.
Okay.
$2,000 to $3,000 per month. $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay, so $2,000 to $3,000 per month, right? So basically, what we're saying is that an American would make 8 to 10 times what you would make.
Exactly.
Exactly, right?
Expensive.
And
Yeah.
you guys are at one of the top universities in the country, right? So in a country of 180 million, you've competed against many, many other students to get the brightest in the country. Are you 10 times dumber than an American?
No, not at all.
Okay, but
Economy of less than that of America.
okay, but then why do you earn 10 times less than an American would for going to an equivalent university? Is IBA 10 times worse as a university than an American university? Are the students 10 times dumber?
Because there's a difference in economy. The entire system is different. Here in Pakistan, we can do with 30 to 40,000 per month, but there, the expenses are also, huge.
No, I think with more opportunity abroad, like the platform they provide, I think there's a lack of platform in Pakistan. Like as far as computer science graduates are concerned, I'm currently pursuing a degree in computer science, but the platform abroad is much better as compared to Pakistan. So we can earn like around $3,000 to $4,000 per month.
Okay, but does a computer is a computer, I'm assuming, right? So when you have a computer, you can do the same amount of work from Karachi as you can from California.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay, so I'll tell you a little story about how and one of the reasons I am so passionate about the internet and why it's the thing for you guys to do is last year I went for a haircut in Islamabad. How much do you think that the haircut, it cost me 40 rupees, which is about 50 cents. Yeah? In Dubai, I went 6 months ago, and that haircut cost me 25 dirhams, which is about $8. right? So it went from 50 cents to $8 just to come to Dubai. And I went for Geneva in Switzerland a few months ago, and it cost me $45, 40 Swiss francs. So Imran, the barber, is he 90 times worse than Jean-Pierre that did my haircut look 45 times better? It didn't look 45 times better, right? So, but what it is in the old economy, before the internet came, even though the Swiss could get their haircut at 90 times cheaper prices by flying out to Pakistan, they didn't come out to Pakistan. Yeah? And Imran couldn't open up a shop in Geneva because he didn't have the money to set up a store. He didn't have the business license. He didn't have the passport, the visa to go to Switzerland and set up. Yeah? But now think about if the job required is video editing, graphic design, computer programming, marketing. Any of those could now be done from anywhere. Yeah? So why, if I'm living in Geneva, why would I go to get my graphic design done locally if I can get it 90 times cheaper? Yeah? So you guys are in an amazing, amazing time in history, which allows you to, even if you charge, if you say to an American, I'll do this job for $500 a month, you're making more than most of your classmates going locally working in a company. And the American is still paying 3-4 times less than he would for a local student. But the trick is, how do you convince them that you are better? Because it's also challenging to work remotely. It is easier if I can see the guy face to face. And how do I know if you're any good, right? Because I'll get 1,000 CVs and everyone says they're good. The trick is building your personal brand. Yeah, so if you can be the best computer programmer in the world, then there's no reason why you can't make $5,000–$10,000 sitting in Karachi. Yeah, because now you need to start thinking about competing globally. So this is where the world is shifting, right? So if you just think about getting a haircut, think about how much cheaper it is to get it done in Pakistan and than in Switzerland, and the fact that the haircut is pretty much the same quality, right? I mean, the barbers are pretty much the same, and a Swiss barber does as much work in that hour as a Pakistani barber does. But of course, now if you're earning $5,000–$10,000 a month, that's good money in Pakistan, right? You can live like a king. And this is why that advantage you have. Yeah, because now if the two of us are competing against something, you can do it cheaper, and you have access to more resources, so you can subcontract a graphic designer, you can subcontract any of these guys, and they're local to you. But the trick is you have to build up your brand, because now if you say to people on your resume, I'm from Pakistan, already they're going to offer you less money, right? Because although it's the same resume, if it said American University graduate with an American passport, Mike Smith, they'll probably get more in the marketplace. But what you have to do is figure out how you can be the best in your industry, in your niche, so that you can start making those income from a global perspective. Because globally, I know that the thing that a lot of you guys want to do is work in multinational corporations and this, but the shift is coming so that smaller and smaller companies are being formed. As an example, IBA is a huge school or business school, but now I can set up Webpreneur University or Webpreneur Academy now. And what can I do? I am essentially, what do people want when they go for education? They want knowledge, which is what I'm able to provide and package. And what do they want? They want networking opportunities, which is what people that join in this webpreneur, they get to do amongst each other. Now, I don't have to spend on physical buildings and infrastructure. I save money on that. I can scale internationally. So now we have partners in Kenya, in Pakistan, in the UK. And this is what you can do as well. If you want to create real wealth for yourself, there is essentially 4 quadrants. This is from a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that you can get into. The first quadrant is called the employee quadrant. Yeah, when you join as an employee, guess what? Your ability to earn is pretty limited. Yeah, so the employee is going to make, you said 25, 30,000 rupees a month. Hey, if you do really excellent job, maybe you go up to 40,000, and maybe slowly over time, you go up to 100,000. But an employee, you get stable paychecks, but your income is usually limited. The second quadrant is self-employed. And this is how typically people like yourselves, students, start out, is they say, okay, I'll become a freelancer, freelance programmer, a freelance marketing executive, or freelance designer. The problem with being a freelance designer or freelancer is your income is still limited, because the day that you're ill, you don't make money. The day that you don't go into work, or the day that you don't have a contract, when you go on vacation, you don't make money. So again, it's limited. So most small doctors or lawyers are like this, but the income is reliant on them. The third quadrant, and this is where real wealth starts to get created, is the business owner. So if you look at Ray Kroc, the guy who founded McDonald's, he became a multi-hundred millionaire, billionaire, and one of the richest men in America at the time. What did he do? He didn't spend his time flipping hamburgers, but he founded McDonald's, and he set up the systems and processes so that now, years down the line, there's 30,000 McDonald's around the world. But he didn't go flip the burger. So now if you can become a business owner, you start to create much more wealth for yourself. So what am I? I'm becoming a business owner by setting up Webpreneur Academy. Every time a new student comes on, I start making more money, yeah, as a business owner. The fourth quadrant is as an investor. So what you can do is, there's always entrepreneurs like yourselves or like me that need money to help us start our businesses. And what people with excess money want to do is, rather than storing it in a bank account and making 5%, they can invest in your business or your venture and take a percentage of your ventures. And what I really think is that this is where the shift is going to happen, and why the opportunities are there for you, is because if you have a great idea, and I am someone who is working in the UK, and I'm making, let's say, $5,000 a month, which is reasonably average job, and you came up to me and said, hey, I have this idea, but I need a salary for myself, and I think it's going to work out really great. I have an idea for a website that can help serve food, for instance, right? So people can order food online, and it will take the order, and then they'll distribute it to the restaurant, and we'll make a percentage of the money. If you came up to me and said, that's my idea, but look, I need money to live, to be able to program this business venture, which is about $250 a month. I need one graphic designer part-time and one other programmer part-time, so I need about $500 a month. I think I can get this venture off the ground in 6 months, and if you can pay for it, we'll split the profits. So this way, you can approach someone and they can say, okay, well, let me see. If I can make a venture now, even though I have a day job, I'm making $5,000 a month. I can invest $500 a month in this venture. And maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, I can start making returns on that venture. So it's very easy for you to start an idea. Does anyone in the room have any ideas that you're thinking about, a business idea?
We're thinking, we just came up with an idea yesterday, like actually we have to launch a business by the end of this semester, like in this course. So we thought of, you know, an online bookstore for IBA students. What we do is, by the end of the semester, we'll buy books from different students, like, and then, you know, when the next batch comes in the next semester, in the upcoming semester, we'll sell them like books on, like we'll buy them on, for instance, I buy a book for 150 rupees and I'll sell it to someone like for 300 rupees. The students cannot go to Urdu Bazaar, like यहाँ पे Karachi में there's this Urdu Bazaar. Students don't go there. They tell their friends, okay, maybe you know, get me books and stuff. So we'll be providing this facility to IBA students to buy and sell books online, their course books. So that's how.
They can buy old and new books. They will have to go down to buy old books and buy new books and to sell their old. They are going to be young.
Okay, excellent. So this is the business that you're going to start up, right?
Exactly. We're thinking over it, but I just have something in mind. I think it's very seasonal. Like, though it'll last for, like, if I start this business, we'll be working for 2 weeks and then we'll be free, like, for the whole semester. That's because students, like, buy books in the beginning, like, not throughout the semester. So how do, you know, we do this so that we can continue this throughout the whole semester and, you know, get ourselves involved?
Let's talk about this. What is an article?
Okay, so why are you limiting it to IBA students? Why not LUM students and NUS students and other students?
Because we plan to get the old books from the friends we have in IBA.
No,
right?
no. I'll tell you. We actually plan to expand it throughout Karachi. Initially, we'll start from IBA and then we'll start expanding it, like throughout Karachi, and then even if possible, like if I expand with it, so we, you know, cater all universities over Pakistan, like
yeah,
if possible.
Urdu Bazaar has all the books and whatever is available on like Amazon or some other online bookstores. Urdu Bazaar has got everything, so we can actually expand it. But for this time, it's just gonna be limited just for IBA.
Okay, perfect. Look, this is a great idea, and if you look at Amazon.com, you've heard of Amazon, right? It's one of the biggest retailers in the world. Online it is, I think, if not the biggest. It's $30 billion in sales online. How did they start? Jeff Bezos, he started with selling books. Why books rather than t-shirts and clothes and all these other things? Because a book is a book, right? A book, you don't know, you don't have to try it on, right? So you don't know, like shoes, you have to try on. If the size doesn't fit, you have to return it. A book has an ISBN number, International Standard Book Number, right? Do books in Pakistan have ISBN numbers for Urdu versions as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? So,
Some do have, but most of the original ones have, but we use pirated versions, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, pirated books give us the name of the book and the library, so we can give them the book.
Like they'll order it and these people will give free delivery to books.
okay.
Not free
Exactly.
We can ask.
Yeah, whatever.
Perfect. So you've got, so look, this idea you can scale internationally. You can scale, firstly, you know, bigger than IBA. You can make it at least Karachi-wide, and probably you can make it nationwide, Pakistan-wide. And if you think big enough, you can make it global. Yeah? Because you're doing a student exchange book swap program. Now, so one thing is, when you start with an idea, you start small, as in you think, okay, how do I solve the problem for IBA? But in the back of your mind, you think big. Yeah, think big to say, okay, I can see this working in the US as well, right? I can see it working in Brazil. Because as a business, what I was explaining is that you're now the business owners. Yeah? So as the business owners, you need to think, because creating software or the system, it's really hard for the first one to make. Yeah? So when you're making the first transaction, the first book, that's a lot of work. Yeah, to make that first transaction online. But then after that, it can scale, right? Hundreds and thousands of people can use this service, and you make more money, right? Because it's just software that does more work. So think beyond, firstly, think beyond IBA, so that maybe this software could be put into schools and universities or work nationally. Now, you can look at, the first step is usually to look at an idea that's already working. Yeah, so whenever anyone has an idea, chances are 99% of the time someone else is already doing it somewhere. Yeah, almost every idea is being done in some shape or format, which is a good thing, because then you know there's a market for that idea. Yeah, but if just because there's a, like a Nike, doesn't mean Adidas cannot exist, right? So there's always room for different people in the market. So firstly, what you would do is you look online, and maybe I can do this now, is, well, actually you're going to do this, but you look online and you see how many, where does this exist and who's doing something like it. Yeah, and I can tell you there will be. For instance, Amazon.com, they do that where they'll buy the book and they've got a marketplace. And there's, I can't remember the name now, but I know there's a few other sites that do this kind of thing, which is a good thing, because why start from scratch when you should go for something that already exists and copy, edit, paste, right? So improve on what is already there and then bring that idea on. Now you'll have a couple of issues to resolve. One is payment. How do you take payment from customers? And you have ideas about that?
Actually, what we do is, it's actually an incentive to students, that students will come up to us, like when we say that we're giving you money for, your books, because what students usually do at the end of the semester is throw away their books, or, like for example, me, I don't know where my books of my previous semester are, like, I don't know. So if I know I'll be getting money in return, I'll obviously go up to someone who's doing this business. I get like around 600-700 rupees. That will like, obviously attract me towards the person who's doing that business.
How much was your new book? How much is a new book?
My new, it cost me around 300 rupees.
Sorry?
Per book.
1,200?
No, 100 per book. 300. 200 and 300 per book.
Okay, 300 per book. So they're pirated book. They're not.
Exactly.
Okay, and what you're saying is, how much would you give for that 300 rupee book?
Like,
the cost of around 150.
Around 100. 100 rupees. Like,
100?
No? Yeah.
And then how much would you sell it for?
200.
exactly 200. That's because we're 250 actually, because we're selling it less than the market price, like moving the traction.
But the
second hand, we can sell around 150 to 160.
We can buy that for less than
40 to 50 rupees market.
Exactly.
Okay, but then, so the people are going to buy it online or what? Where are they going to buy the book? How?
We'd be having a course catalog on, like books catalog on the website, like which books are available. And there will be a list of books, and for instance, there will be a buy book button. So, there will be a list of books for, or one freshies ke liye, like there will be a certain list of books, and for sophomores, like, so that's how it works. So And there will be another button of sell books. So if someone wants to sell his or her books, so you can go log on to the website and give away his or her book for around 600.
Okay. So look, the advantage for me as a student using this service is A, I can make some money
Yes.
for selling my book. Secondly, I can save some money. I can save some money in buying books, right?
Exactly.
That
Can buy second
Going and
have
buying
to-
Going
together.
exactly this point.
That's the main.
because the books are useful for only 4 months, and you do not need to buy new books every time in every semester. So you can use second-hand books, and you can get it at a lower cost in the market.
Okay, so we need to have some sort of thing in the business which allows you to see the condition of the book. Yeah? So if you look
Exactly.
if we look at eBay, for instance, eBay is an auction site in the US. What they do is, you can sell secondhand goods, but you have to be very good at describing it, because what happens if I buy a book, I read it and I color all over it, and then I sell it back, that condition now students are not going to want to buy it, right? So you need some sort of either quality check yourself, or whoever's selling it has to tell you the condition of the book. Fair?
Yeah.
So somehow you need to get that into your requirements to say, okay, how are we going to ensure that people are not selling back junk books and the pages are ripped out and all that stuff? Because once it happens once to you, then I'm going to blog and tell all my friends on Facebook never to use IBAbookstore.com because that's happening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so but entrepreneurship is essentially about solving problems. Yeah, so all the time, what you've got to be doing is solving these types of problems. So the problem is that how will we know and assure the quality of the book? And now you have to think through and come up with a few options, and whatever is the simplest, and you start with one thing, right? So as you go through this idea, and it's a great idea, and just go for it. Just think through all these types of problems that you're going to be solving, because you're going to come up with many, many more problems along the way. And what makes successful entrepreneurs are the ones that stick with it. So if you treat this as it's a school project, yeah, I don't know if I'll turn up. And if it's a group project, there's usually like 1 or 2 people that do the work, and then the other ones watch TV and turn up when they. If you take it seriously, and if you say, look, I'm not gonna do this for the grade, I'm gonna do this because if you can set up one business, you can set up multiple businesses. Yeah? So if you can set up one business which does this to allow you to sell books, maybe tomorrow or a year down the line, you'll have an idea for selling shoes like this, right? Or clothes. Just think of how easy it will be to replicate that business. Yeah? And because you're solving all these problems and you're at the forefront, you're going to solve how to take payments, for instance. People will say, okay, how do I pay because I don't have a credit card? How can I do it? And you can use courier services. In Pakistan, there's one called BlueX, which will go to your customer. They'll deliver the book to them and collect the cash. Yeah?
And we can do one other thing as well. For instance, if we expand it to other universities, we can, get a campus ambassador, like a university ambassador on board. So he can collect the payment on our behalf. Because website pe we will have the record online. We will have the record with us. So we can have a campus ambassador like in every university. And if we expand it to, inshallah, like if it gets successful in IBA.
Perfect.
Isn't it better to use online payment?
Sorry?
Yeah, can we use online payment?
How do you
PayPal.
Yeah,
PayPal.
anything PayPal or
Yes.
credit card, anything.
That's getting into more
We can use
complexity.
credit card, right?
Like,
That's the fun.
I don't have credit card.
You don't have
Exactly.
a credit card.
no, student, we won't be allowing students to pay through credit cards because no, I think one student in 1,000 students will have credit card. Will pay. So that's so online facility. We don't need to we need to cater to that when we're doing it internationally. We're doing it if we're doing it in Karachi.
You need to see the convenience.
Exactly.
Especially because this is, this business.
Okay, perfect. Look, what you will is on this project. Are you guys all working as a group, or is it one small mini group?
As a group, 6 people.
6 people. What you can always do is look. You can split up these tasks and come up with options, right? So what happens in business is people they wait so long till they make a decision, right? So what happens in the version 1.0 of your website is that you can say that the student ambassador will collect the payment, yeah? And then as you go on from there, you can look at other options. For instance, there's a website called 2checkout.com. That's number 2 and then checkout.com, which will allow you to take credit cards so that even from Pakistan now, you can take credit cards so from people around the world, yeah? Then, as I said, the other option is bluex.com is just one of the companies that I know, but they'll charge maybe 200 rupees or something like that to to deliver the book to the person and then collect the cash. Yeah, and the other thing to do is look at successful websites in Pakistan that are already working and see what they're doing. I know Liberty Books, for instance, I think they went online recently. They even have a Facebook ordering mechanism. So why go through the hassle of thinking all this stuff through when you can just do some research, see what exists, and just copy, edit, paste? Yeah?
Copy edit.
So so what you can do is now this idea is what you can do is do prototypes, right? So before you go and build stuff, what I normally do is I use post-it notes like this, and I put down, okay, what the page will look like. Yeah, so I put down on the thing, I say, okay, this will be one screen. And what I do is I put them on the wall like that. So it's easier to move. And so you have the ordering to the payment to whatever screen, right? And you can start working on all these ideas. Now, what I am saying to you guys is take this project seriously because it's going to lead to a great business out of it. Don't treat it just like a project. Think about how you can seriously make some money out of it, right? So how you can monetize it. Because trust me, there's nothing better than having your own business. The only one thing is going to be is that you're going to say, well, how many percentage does that person get and all that stuff, which is the thing. But you can, you can divide up shares and things like that. Now, what will happen is also in a business, remember that everyone has different skills. Yeah, and appreciate that not everyone is vocal, for instance. Not everyone does can do graphic design, but you'll have a mixture of skills within your team right there that can make that business happen. What I would also recommend is to be able to I would also look into what affiliate systems are. Has anyone heard of affiliate systems?
No.
Okay, so this is how, because one of the step one is to launch something, a product, no matter how basic it is, right? Is to have a product. But the bigger success of online and entrepreneurship is marketing, yeah? Because how do you communicate that idea to the world, yeah? Because you're gonna have a great website and you're gonna think, oh, I wanted to, everyone should be using it, but guess what? I'm too busy with my stuff and, everyone's too busy, and why should I risk? I don't know if my money will be eaten, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have fear of buying online. So you have to think about how you're going to market this idea, how you're going to spread the messages about this idea. And this is really where you can be very successful as well, is that the way that affiliate systems work, and Amazon is one place that you can join, and Webpreneur Academy, my own academy, is another place, is where a website will give you an incentive to promote for them. So for instance, you can go on to Webpreneur Academy, and I sell a course for, starting from $199. Yeah? Now, what happens is I want more people to come and join my courses. So how do I get to them? Because you guys all have friends, but you're not, I don't have access to them. What you can do is you can sign up as an affiliate. When you sign up as an affiliate, you get a special link. So it'll give you a link like webpreneuracademy.com/A=1234. Now, if you forward that link to your friends, for instance, on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and then they end up clicking through and buying, I give you 10% of that. Yeah? So what that means is, for $199, you make $19. Yeah? Which is about 2,000 rupees almost. Yeah? Now, what happens is you're incentivated and I'm incentivated. We're both aligned. Yeah? So, for instance, what I'll also do is I'm recording this video now, yeah, which gives me content that I upload on YouTube. So if you go onto YouTube, you can see, if you do Amir and Anzur, you'll see a lot. I have over 100 videos, right? 170, 80 videos. What happens is people come to watch that content. Now, you can say to your friend, you can sign up as an affiliate. You can take that link. You can send them to say, hey, check out a lecture that I attended on webpreneuracademy.com. Now what happens is anyone that clicks through, on their computer, it leaves a cookie. Yeah? So that even when they go back and 2 months, 3 months later, they sign up, I give you 10% of that. Yeah? So some of my courses go up to $4,000. Yeah? So you make $400 per sale. Now this is what you will have to do for your bookstore as well, right? Because now you could say to me that, look, let's say that you make 200 rupees. You say to me, hey, promote our link, and I'll give you 10% or 5% or 15%, whatever you can afford. And now I would make, I have 3,000 friends on Facebook, yeah? And I have, 2,500 followers on Twitter. I have a few thousand people on LinkedIn. People watch my videos, and my blog is there as well, yeah? Now what I can do is give you, I can make a percentage, because if I have a following, I can just let my followers know about a service like yours, and I start making money, yeah? So what happens is you need to sort out that marketing aspect of it. So what you would do is you would find the biggest bloggers in Pakistan or maybe around the IBA region, or people that have good video shows, like television shows on YouTube, for instance. And you give them that special link to promote, and now, or you can give them a coupon, right? So you say to, for instance, you go to ARY television, and you say to ARY, hey, Mr. ARY, if you promote us and people can use the coupon code ARY when they're shopping, they'll get one-time discount of 5 rupees or 50 rupees. And anyone that uses that coupon, I will give you X percentage. Yeah? So now as a TV station, I have an incentive to promote you. Or a radio station, or a blog, or whatever it might be. So think about that angle of your business, because it's very important to not just build the website, which is what a lot of techies and geeks and all these people, they do. They just build a nice product, but then nobody knows or hears about it. And that's actually where the money is, right? So it's in the marketing. So that's why all these multinational brands, they're good at marketing, and now you have to learn how to market it. You have to make YouTube videos. You have to create these brands, yeah? Make sense?
Yes.
So are you beginning to see how the internet can really create a lot of wealth for you, right?
Exactly.
So,
Okay, saying something?
go ahead.
I mean, this is my idea. It's somewhat similar to your academy, online academy. We had this idea that we want to create a learning resource for students, which will be containing videos, interactive videos, tutorials. Like for example, you know, in our schools, the education is usually very dry, and now we're moving towards, you know, this system that students like to have education that's interactive, and they like being educated through visuals and everything. So what we want to do is that we want to create tutorials for O-levels and A-level students. In the beginning, we want to do that. In the long run, we want to create a whole, you know, learning thing for students waiting from universities, and we can create tutorials for skill building sessions as well. But the problem that we see here is, like, you know, is it going to work in this environment or not, in Pakistani environment? Because, you know, this is something really new for us, you can say.
Okay, now this, okay, this is entrepreneurship, right? There's no guarantees of anything, right? I can tell you one thing, it's never gonna work unless you launch it, right? So if you don't launch it, of course it's not gonna work. Yeah, so that's the only guarantee that I can give you. It will work.
Okay.
It's just problem solving, right? So some people give up when it doesn't work in a week or in 10 weeks or whatever, and then they give up, right? They say, oh, I pitched it to my mother and my father says it's a bad idea. Your parents are likely to think it's a bad idea, and most people around you are not entrepreneurs, so they're gonna tell you it's never gonna work, yeah? So what, I am an entrepreneur and I'm gonna tell you that it will work, yeah? It will work if you persevere with it long enough, you experiment, you keep changing it, and get it going, yeah? So the ones that don't make it work, they just speak to a few friends, they meet for a coffee, they go to a dinner and say, oh, I have this idea. And someone will say, oh, no, it's too expensive. Pakistanis are different than Americans. I can tell you I've worked in, I don't know how many, I've worked in Pakistan, I worked in the US, I worked in England, now I'm in Dubai. People are people, right? They want to save money, they want efficiency, they want to learn, they want to do all these things, right? So there is no, there's a difference in the market, for instance, in Pakistan compared to America, where in America, maybe 70, 80% of the people use the internet. In Pakistan, it's 10 to 15, 20%. Yeah? But even if it's 10% of 180 million, that's 18 million people, which is bigger than all of the UAE. It's bigger than Switzerland. It's a big country already in that sense. And then if you think about the 180 million and the 10% that are using it, guess what? They're the most educated and the richest. Yeah? And even if you have 1,000, there's a great guy on internet thought leadership called Kevin Kelly. He talks about 1,000 true fans. Yeah? He says if you have 1,000 true fans in any business, you can make a living. Yeah? So if you think about my Webpreneur Academy, I'm selling a course for $199. Yeah? If I can get 1,000 people in all of Pakistan, yeah, that can afford $200, that's $199,000. Yeah, in the first year on that one course, which is decent money. Yeah? Now the beauty of the internet is, why do I have to limit myself to Pakistan? I can easily, for this idea, you can just as easily target India. You can just as easily target America. Yeah? So you can look at a few business models, like if you look at Khan Academy, It's free tutorials where this guy Sal Khan started teaching K to 12, kindergarten through 12th grade. But this is free, and then he got funding eventually from someone like Bill Gates. The other model is you can, so that's a non-profit model. Yeah, the only problem with non-profit business is there's no profit. Yeah, so that means you have to get a day job and do this. Here's the second business model that I can already pitch to you, is you set up, IBA freeacademy.com. You become an affiliate of someone like Webpreneur Academy. You put up advertising, I give you 10%, and you can start making money. Now, it's not just me that offers affiliates. There's Amazon.com. So if you go to Amazon, you can sign up as an affiliate. And what happens is, I'm just showing the people on this video, affiliate. Oh, okay, perfect. Some guys are tweeting on Twitter. Thanks for that. I'm more of a Facebook guy myself, by the way. But anyway, what you can do is, I'm just showing it on the video. I know you can only see my beautiful face rather than this, my screen. But if you see the recording of the video after, you can sign up for an affiliate program with Amazon where they'll give you 3 to 15% of their sales. So if you go to amiranzur.com, for instance, you'll see I have a bookshelf, and I recommend a few books. You click from my site, you go to Amazon. Amazon will pay me a commission. I don't have to take care of the books. I don't have to take care of anything. Yeah, so that's one of your business models. The other one you can go to is clickbank.com. Clickbank.com. Who's heard of Clickbank? No one? It's paid out already. If you look on the site, check it out afterwards, $2 billion in commissions. Over there, they'll give you up to 75% commissions on courses. So for instance, I could sell an ebook for $20, and I'll give you 75% commissions. Why would I do that? Because I need to have people help me sell my book. Yeah? So I'm launching a book now in the next couple of weeks. And what's the problem with selling that book is how are people going to find out about it? So what do? I say, okay, I'll give you a percentage of the sales that I generate from the book. Now on ClickBank, there'll be many people like me, like millions of people like me, that are offering software or digital products, etc., and they're looking for marketers to help them. Now, so the way that you can make money as for the free academy is either you can do what's called a freemium model, which means 99% of the people will use your service for free, but that 1%, they'll pay you. Like Facebook, for instance, or even Skype. Most of us were using it for free, but there are people that pay for it. I've paid for it to get the premium number so I can have incoming. And out of that 400 million people that use it for free, the 40 million that pay for it, even the $10 a month, they make up the numbers, yeah? So that's called a freemium model you can use. By the way, I know it's 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock your time. What time do I have? Don't you have a next class?
We don't have the next class. We can go on.
Yes.
Okay, just tell me when to stop because I can obviously talk forever, right? I like this stuff. But anyway, what you can do is so one business model is freemium. So that means that when you start that academy, you give out quite a bit of free content, and maybe there's some things like one-on-one tuition where you can charge money. Second business model is you can have affiliate systems. So that means, as I said, you become, let's say, a Webpreneur Academy affiliate or an Amazon affiliate or ClickBank, or go to Commission Junction, cj.com, and companies will give you a percentage to help them promote. Third business model is you can go to somewhere like Google AdSense. So you know how Google makes all its money, right? Google, multi-billion-dollar business, is those ads on the right-hand side. Yeah? So if you look at those ads on the right-hand side, now Google can also give you code to put into your website where it will give them the relevant advertising. Yeah, so for instance, I'm someone who monetizes knowledge, right? So people have to pay me to join Webpreneur Academy. Yeah? Now, what happens is, let's say I'm telling you my cost, my Webpreneur 101 course is $199. Yeah? Now, I have some costs because I give people free domain and I give them hosting. But let's say with all my costs taken out, that my profit margin is $150. Yeah? Now, what I can do is I can spend money on Google advertising. Yeah? So I can say to, I can bid on the ads on the right side, and I can say to Google, I'll give you $1 per click. Or even Facebook has this similar concept, you know, those ads on the right side, right? But let's say for Google, I say to Google, I'll give you $1 per click. When someone types into the search engine, online internet training. Yeah, so I'm giving Google $1 a click. I know that for every 100 people that visit my website, 2 people buy. Yeah? If 2 people buy, I'm making $300, and my cost to get that traffic was $100. Yeah? Now, in that same way, instead of typing it on Google, what you can do is Google gives you Google Ads, so that on your academy, it's called Google AdSense, it will be able to click through, and they will split that revenue with you. So when you have those ads, every 100 people that visit your website, there'll be an ad, a little small Google AdSense ad for Webpreneur Academy, and Google will give you 50 cents, and they'll keep 50 cents. Yeah, so you're making some money on that. Yeah, Google AdSense is to look out. And then you can obviously start charging for services. Always look to start monetizing, and don't limit yourself to say it has to be just Pakistan, right? Because look, even if you're looking at Pakistan, there's 7 million Pakistanis that live outside Pakistan. Yeah? So that means they're people with money, and the fear, and this is what your professor, Ms. Saram, asked me to talk about, which was the fear of first step. Yeah? So you're going to sit there and think, will it work? Will it not work? The only way you know is if you go do it, right? So Wayne Gretzky, one of the famous Canadian hockey players, his famous quote was, you know, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Yeah? What's the worst case scenario if your business doesn't work? You lose what? Time, money, what?
Yeah, money. That's it. But you gain experience. I think that's what's required.
Look, I can tell you from doing entrepreneurship, the best way to learn is when you're doing the business. Yeah, because you can go sit through 100 of these classes, but because you don't see a practical way that you start going to make money out of it, you're not going to pay as much attention. You're just going to listen to guys like me and go, yeah, that's nice. But when you have a business that you're thinking about marketing and creating, even when you're listening to lectures like this, you're constantly thinking how what you're learning in school is going to help you with that business. Yeah? So when, for instance, when I did my MBA a few years ago, I had a mobile business, and every time I was in one of these classes, I was constantly thinking, okay, I'm in strategy class. How can I use this strategy to help me in this business? And it connected it. You know, your brain, it works more when it knows it's needed. When it's just studying for the exam, all it's going to think about is how to do well in the exam. But when you have a business on the side, you're much more likely to be successful. And I can tell you a few other things. One is, if we think about 10, 20 years ago, if you wanted to start an academy or teach people or start a restaurant, you would have had to hire a house, right? Rent a house. You would have had to hire teachers. You would have had to buy furniture. And at the most number of students you could get would be around your area in wherever you lived in Karachi. Yeah? Now, you do what I do, which is teach online. I only needed a website, and I can tell you, you can get a free website at wordpress.com. You can then start on this and start, and then it goes from there. Now, I know you guys have to get going, so what I will do is explain a little bit for those that are interested in Webpreneur Academy. If you send an email to pk@webpreneuracademy.com, I'll send the first 3 chapters of my new book for free. And also I'll send you a copy of this video so you can see it for later. And also I'll show you how you can start monetizing using some affiliate systems. And hopefully some of you will also join one of my courses. Webpreneur 101 is the easiest way to join, in which I give you a website and a domain. And so when you want to set up this e-commerce store, it will actually be done for you. Well, you'll do it, but I've trained you how to do it, and all the costs are included on it. So hopefully some of you will join, and when you join, we'll do a lot more interaction, and this is the sort of interaction that we do. And also what we're doing is doing it so that the students teach each other, because usually what happens is for the first, I don't know, month or so, you learn from me, but usually even within 2 weeks, people overtake me, right? Because the internet is so big, there's so much to know, and that you will start teaching the other students. And now what I also do is, we're doing student exchange programs with universities in different parts of the world, right? So anyway, if I don't see you on it, catch me on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, or just check out amiranzur.com. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're very motivational. Speak, like, you know.
Just don't
Amir,
forget.
thank you.
Don't forget
The
your
students like
teachers when you're rich and famous, right? So, right? You know, because now I'm getting all these SMSs. I started teaching a year or 2 ago. These people that are making great money now, and you know, my words to you is just have some confidence in your skill and your ability. Put in the hours and go do it. You know, you're in a great situation right now because you don't need a job. Your parents are paying for your university and all this. So you have, instead of watching TV and, you know, sitting there and doing this, spend some time on this little screen and figure out ways that it can help you create an income. And make this idea happen, both of these ideas, and let me know. Yeah?
Do you think the online books are like, is it a good idea? Like, we are thinking to launch this business. Like, what's your take on this idea?
My take is, I was starting this myself, right? So I'll tell you just some of my ideas that I have already. I have a website called hostmarkaz.com, which is a hosting business. And I have a website called shopmarkaz.com, which enables you to build a store, right? So if you go to shopmarkaz.com, it allows you to build this store that you're talking about, right? So if you look at Zaur Flowers, for instance, that's one of my sites. It's a flower shop online. Books is the best thing to sell, because when I was also thinking about what I could sell to Pakistani market, the thing is people actually spend a lot more on education, relative income, than a lot of other things, right? Because the parents, they're obliged to spend on books. Now, the idea I had, so I mean, I'm even giving you stuff that you can steal and go do it, because I'm telling you, it's not about the idea, it's about the implementation. Plenty of people have thought about online academies, but very few people persevere with it long enough to do what I've been doing. But the idea I had was that it would be an online bookstore. So I would approach someone like Liberty Books, or people that sort out books for schools and universities already. I would say to them, look, when I get the order, please take care of the distribution and the fulfillment, right? And I would say to them, I would go to big schools like Beacon House or you know, systems. Rather than marketing to individuals, I would just say to them, look, I will give you 5%, just give you 5% coupons to so that all your book lists are on my website. So for instance, you know that in 8th grade, this is the book list. Yeah, so as a user, I can, as a parent, rather than having to go around and look for all these books, I can go on your site and I can click Beacon House I can say that I'm in 8th grade, and these are all the books that I need. I can just press once, buy all of those 10 books together, and that comes to me, right? So that way, as a parent, and then you can team up with a courier company. I don't have to go around the town looking for ideas, yeah? What I can also show you is that here's a couple of things. I'm sorry, I know I'm taking up time, but you're welcome to walk out. This is what I do to teach people. I draw a little X and Y axis, and then X axis. You have a bunch of ideas, right? So what I put down is, I put along here passion and the ability to be best in world. Yeah? So, for instance, why am I telling you about this, my idea? Because I also had a bunch of ideas, like flower shop, academy, etc. Now what you do is, you say, okay, how passionate am I about this idea, right? Because, for instance, I was selling insurance online, but I wasn't really that passionate about insurance, so I put it low here. And then what you say is, what is my ability to be the best in the world? Yeah? And insurance, for instance, I could not be best in the world because I didn't have passion for it, so I was not spending a lot of time on it. So it was on the bottom left. I had a travel company online. I had this bookstore online. And then I had this Webpreneur Academy, which was my online academy. And I saw that the thing that I had the most passion for was teaching. And could I be the best in the world? Yes, because that's where I've dominated, and I've done a lot of businesses online. I've worked with Google and Xbox and all this. So I picked the idea that I was in the top right. Now, what you also do is you make the size of the circle how big you think that industry is. Yeah? So for instance, if you want to sell shoelaces online, you might say, well, the size of the circle is quite small. Yeah? If you want to do books and sell them in Pakistan, you might say the size might be medium. If you want to do online training, you might say that actually the size of the circle is quite big. And even books globally is quite big. Yeah, so now books are going digital as well, yeah? But what you do is, because if the size of the circle is big, usually what happens is when you start the idea, it's not the first idea, let's say you had that secondhand book idea, but you keep tinkering it and changing it until it works. And it might turn out, like I just told you, the beacon house type thing idea. Yeah? So you start with an idea, but if it stays in your head, it's not going to go anywhere, because all you're going to think every day, all day is like, oh, will it work? Will it not work? But instead you go do, you start, you test, you reiterate, you test, you change, you change until you get the result. And when you get the result, then you Facebook me and say, thanks for making me a millionaire.
Inshallah. Amir, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And there is a request that we would like you again.
Exactly.
Online.
Sure.
Again for a second session.
Possible. Yeah, please.
Would that be possible?
Yeah, sure, I can do it, but then you guys gotta help me market Webpreneur Academy at IBA, yeah?
We will.
Okay, so we can do that. So look, I can also show you how to make money together. Yeah, so once you make your first 1,000 rupees online, your mindset will shift. Yeah, and when your mind, when you make 1,000, or even think about your first 100 rupees. That's what I'm gonna help you do, right? Make your first 100 rupees through the internet. Yeah. And once you can do that, your mind will shift. And then if you've made 100, then you can make a 200. And if you can make 200, you can make 400. Yeah, then it goes, because money is just a number. Yeah. So just connect to me on Facebook, and please do email pk@webpreneuracademy.com. That goes to my franchisee of Pakistan, and he will. Then we will follow up with you with some material and things like that. Yeah.
Amir, can just stay there for a minute? We want to have a group photo with you. Okay. We'll just stand by and have a picture. Okay, go on. We usually have pictures with the guests, but since you are all live,
Tag me on Facebook with this picture, actually.
यार वो छोटा
With the professor as well, because we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And okay, and I'm gonna be seeing your guys launching your businesses. Yeah, it's gonna be at the next step.
Very soon.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Okay, action.
Thank you very
Yeah? Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye. Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye.